Babysitter. Sometimes my mum and dad used to go out. This meant that my brother had to babysit me. He hated it because I just wouldn't go to bed when he told me to. He was 4 years older than me. Well, actually, he still is. He'd shout, he'd rant and rave, "Will you go to bed?" But I never went until I heard the front door open with mum and dad coming back. And then I'd be upstairs into bed in a flash. Anyway, after a few months of this, my mum and dad tried something new. Just before they went out, they said, "Right, Mick, you go to bed before we go out and you stay there." Okay, I said, okay. Yeah, okay. And off I went to bed. I lay there waiting to hear the front door close. Slam! And straight away, I was out the bed, down the stairs, into my brother's room. There he is, sitting there, reading. First of all, he tries, "I'm not taking any notice of Michael." He goes on reading. I think I'll make him notice. I put my face behind the book with my eye peeping round the edge of the book. Every time he gets to the end of a line, his eye looks into my eye. He tries to pretend I'm not there. It's no good. He can't. My eye is peeping away like mad round the edge of the book. He starts to laugh. Look, yeah, look, he says, "Look, this isn't fair. You promised you'd stay in bed. I'll tell him, I will." So now I go and stand by the door and I fiddle. I make little rattly noises with the handle and the key. Fiddle diddle, riddle diddle. He tries to pretend I'm not there. It's no good. He can't. I'm rattling away like mad with the handle and the key. He starts to laugh. "All right," he says, "look, right, that's it." He sounds like he's going to really do for me. So now he tries, "I'm going to be so boring, Michael will get so fed up, he'll go back to bed." He starts up a chant. Go to bed, 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 go to bed. He doesn't stop. Go to bed, go to bed, go to bed, go to bed. He goes on for ages. Go to bed, go to bed, go to bed. I try to talk to him. "Hey, what do you want for your birthday, Brian?" "Go to bed, go to bed, go to bed." "Do you want a sweet?" "Go to bed, go to bed, go to bed." "Hey, you've got a pimple on the end of your nose, you know." "Go to bed, go to bed, go to bed." And I'm still fiddling with the door. I lock it. I unlock it. I lock it. I try to unlock it. Go to bed, go to bed, go. "Brian, I can't unlock the door." "Go to bed, go to bed." "Brian, the key's stuck." He stops. Suddenly he looks pleased and he settles down with his book and waits. Meanwhile, I've got big bother. They're going to come back and find me here, and I've got out of bed and I've come in his room and I've locked the door and it's really late and it's all my fault. I try and I get that key to work. Fiddle, riddle, diddle, diddle, fiddle, riddle, diddle, diddle. For 3 hours I'm at it, and all the time my brother is not taking any notice of Michael. The front door opens. "Hello," my mum calls out. She gets to my brother's door. "Did Michael stay in bed all right?" She's trying to turn the handle. "Let us in, Brian," says my dad cheerily. No answer from us inside. My brother is waiting for me to say something. I'm hoping he'll say something. We're looking at each other. "Come on, Brian," says my dad, getting a bit cross. Oh no, the moment I dread when dad goes from being cheery to absolutely furious. In a weedy little voice I say, "I locked the door." That really winds them up. There's my mum. "Is that you, Michael? You still up? You promised you'd stay in bed. It isn't fair on Brian." And there's my dad and he's roaring, "Would you believe it, the little pig? And the door's jammed. I'll have to break it down. God, when I get inside, oh, he's going to be in for big trouble." And me, I'm standing there all shaky and sorry and shuddery. But my brother, what's he doing? He's smiling all over his big face. Yeah, he took the key out, passed it under the door, and they opened it, and I dashed out off to bed faster than an electronic rabbit. The bus goes on and it's full and it's leaving and it's going on and it's morning and it's evening and it's in Punjabi and it's daytime and it's full and it stops and it's suspicious and it starts and it's in Igbo and it's shouting and it's shopping and it's rapping and it's lit up and it's dark and it's shove up and it's crying and it's squealing and it's in Dutch and it's breaking and it's in Geordie and it's at the station and it's skint and it's full of babies and it's full of men and it's going on and it's past the Vietnamese cafe and it's past the tyre depot and it's past the silver car and its chauffeur and it's waiting for Sinatra to start up and it's in patois and it's chips and vinegar and it's past the park and it's full of football and it's a belly scared, and it's in Arabic, and it's back from school, and it's pushing, and it's raining, and it's right armpits, and it's tranks, and it's angry, it's full of yesterday, and it's riding under the lights, and it's hacked off, and it's the smell of oil, and it's drunk, and it's combing, and it's kissing, and it's packets of rice, and it's cassava, and it's over the canal, and it's the baby's bottle, and it's over the railway, and it's under the cranes, and it's in the shadows of the palaces in glass, and it's in Albanian, and it's bleach, and it's the homework in late, and it's spuds, and it's the hijab, and it's shoulders next to backs, next to fronts, and it's revving, and it's too late, and it's too early, and it's not enough, and it's going on, and it's on time, and it's dreaming, and it will get there today, and it will get there tomorrow. Washing up. On Sundays, my mum and dad said, "Right, we've cooked the dinner, you two can wash it up." And then they went off to the front room. So then we began. First there was the row about who was to wash and who was to dry. My brother said, "You're too slow at washing. I have to hang about waiting for you." So I said, "You always wash. It's not fair." "Hard cheese," he says. "I'm doing it." So that was that. "Whoever dries has to stack the dishes," he says. So that's me, stacking the dishes while he's getting the water ready. Now, quite often we used to have mustard with our Sunday dinner, and we didn't have it out of a tube. One of us used to make it with the powder in an egg cup, and there was nearly always some left over. Anyway, my brother, he'd be washing up by now, and he's standing there at the sink, his hands in the water. I'm drying up. And suddenly he goes, "Quick, quick, 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 come over here, you're going to miss it, quick, 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 come on, you'll miss it." "What?" I say, "Quick, quick, quick, come on, you're in the water." And I say, what do you mean, "Give us your hand, he says. And he grabs my hand, and then my finger. "What?" I say. "That," he says. And he pulls my finger under the water and stuffs it into the egg cup with leftover blobs of old mustard stuck to the bottom. It's all slimy. Oh, horrible! I was an idiot to have believed him. So I go on drying up. Suddenly, I feel a little speck of water on my neck. I look up at the ceiling. Where'd that come from? I look at my brother. He's grinning all over his big face. "Oi, cut that out!" He grins again, sticks his finger under the water in the bowl and... "Oi, that got me right in my face." Did it? He's well pleased. So now it's my turn. I've got the drying up cloth, haven't I? And I've been practicing for ages on the kitchen door handle. Now he's got his back to me, washing up, and out goes the cloth like a whip. And he catches him right on the... Ow! That hurt! I didn't hurt you. Now it's me grinning. So he goes, "All right, let's call it quits." "Okay," I say. 1-1. Fairy squarey. So I go on drying up. What I don't know is that he's got the empty washing up bottle under the water. Blub, 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 blub. It's filling up with dirty soapy water, and next thing it's out of the water and he's gone and it's squished all over my face. "Got you in the mush," he says. "Right, that's it," I say. "I've had enough." And I go upstairs and I get his old bicycle cape. Yeah, one of those capes that you can wear when you ride a bicycle in the rain. So I come down in the bicycle cape and I say, "Okay, I'm ready for anything you've got now. You can't get me now, can you?" So next thing, he's got the little washing up brush, and it's got little bits of meat fat and squashed peas stuck in it. And he's come up to me and he's in, up,
under the cape with it, and he's working it round and round under my jumper and under my chin. So that makes me really wild, and I make a grab for anything that'll hold water, dip in the sink and fling it at him. Yeah, what I don't know is that while I went upstairs to get the cape, he's got a secret weapon ready. It's his bicycle pump. He's loaded it with the dirty washing up water by sucking it all in. He picks it up and it's squirt again all over my hair. Suddenly, the door opens. Have you finished the... It's Mum and Dad. Just look at this. Look at the pair of them. And there's water all over the floor, all over the table. And all we've washed up is 2 plates and the mustard pot. My dad says, you can't be trusted to do anything you're asked, can you? He always says that. Mind you, the floor was pretty clean after we'd mopped it all up. Chocolate cake. When I was a boy, I had a favourite treat. It was when my mum made chocolate cake. Oh, I loved chocolate cake. My mum, she says to me, listen, Michael, if there's any chocolate cake left over at the end of the day, you can take some to school tomorrow to have at playtime or at lunchtime. So I used to go to school with a piece of chocolate cake in my little box, and I'd be walking to school. Yeah, it's in there, I know it, yeah. And I'd get to school, and it would be playtime or lunchtime, and I'd open up the box, take it out. What's it? You got a chocolate cake. Open up the paper. Look at it. Oh, I'm gonna get it. Yeah, I love it. Well, look at it. I loved my mum's chocolate cake, yes. And one time there was some chocolate cake left over at the end of the day, and I went to bed, and I was fast asleep. And then, in the middle of the night, I woke up and I thought, chocolate cake. Maybe I could go downstairs and have a little look at it. No one would know. So I got up out of the bed. Shh, I mustn't wake my brother up. Along the passage, careful not to tread on the creaky floorboard outside Mum and Dad's bedroom, because if they wake up and find me, I'll be in big trouble, so really quiet. Are they still asleep? Yes. Okay. Along the passage, down the stairs, into the kitchen, open the cupboard, and yeah, there it is. Can I take it out? Just have a little look at it. Yeah. Well, and then I notice some little crumbs on the plate. So I think if I lick the end of my finger, I could pick up some of those crumbs, and no one would know anything about it. Oh yeah, a little sort of sticky bit on there. And then I notice on the side of the cake there's some little crumbly bits just falling off. So I think if I take a knife, I could just tidy it up a little bit. No one would notice. Scrunch it all together, and there's the crumbly bits and the sticky bits, and it's all going to go in there. Yeah, belly. And then I notice that as I've tidied it up a little bit over here, then maybe I could just even it up a bit over here. So I take the knife again, and this time through the crispy icing on the top, through the squashy icing in the middle, and I've got a whole slice this time, yeah, and it's all going to go in there. It's a belly. And now I got the taste of it in my mouth, and I can't stop myself, so I go, and I got all these slices, and I can't stop myself. Oh no, it's all gone. Oh no, they're bound to notice now. A whole chocolate cake doesn't just disappear. What am I going to do? I know. I'll wash up the plate and the knife and they won't know anything about it. Good thinking. Take the plate and the knife and wash it up. Shh, really quiet. Shh. Wash up the plate. Shh. And the knife. Shh. Shh. And don't forget to dry up. Get the cloth. And don't forget the knife. And don't forget to put them away. Plate in the cupboard. And the knife in the drawer. And back up to bed. Shh. Up the stairs. Along the passage. Now I know where the creaky floorboard is now, so all I've got to do is tread over it, because if I tread on it and it makes a noise, I am dead. Careful now. Are they still asleep? Yes, it's okay. Into the bedroom, into bed, under the covers. Nice warm feeling, chocolate cake in my belly, goody, goody, goody. And I go to sleep. In the morning, I get up and I go downstairs and I'm having my breakfast. And Mum is busy over there and she's busy over there. And then she says, "Oh, Michael, don't forget your book folder." She hands me my book folder. And I'm busy having my breakfast. She's busy over there. She's busy over there. And then she says, "Oh, Michael, there's something else. There's something nice. There's some chocolate cake left over from yesterday for you to take to school today." And I went, "Right, yeah." And she says, "What's the matter? You usually jump at the idea of having chocolate cake." And I went, "No, it's all right. It's okay." And she's looking at me very closely, just here. And she says, "What's that?" And I said, "What's what?" She said, "It's not chocolate cake, is it?" And I said, "Oh." And she went over to the cupboard. It's gone. The chocolate cake's gone. You haven't eaten the whole of the rest of the chocolate cake, have you? And I said, "I don't know." "You don't know," she said. "You don't know? I don't believe a word of it. Now, off you go to school." "No, before you go to school, go upstairs to the bathroom and wash your dirty, sticky face." I went upstairs to the bathroom and I looked in the mirror and I saw it just there. Chocolate smudge. Chocolate blob. And I looked at it and I thought, maybe next time we have chocolate cake, she'll forget about it. Do you think she will?
The project. At school, we were doing a project. You know the kind of thing. The Vikings. Transport. Wood. Our project was Holland. There we were reading My Friend Hans from Holland. And we made windmills and stuck blue strips of paper onto white strips of paper. They were canals. And we kept talking about tulips and cheese. In the end, I thought they grew cheese and ate tulips. Then suddenly one day, our teacher, Miss Goodall, said there was an inspector coming in. She said he wasn't going to inspect us, he was going to inspect her. And we were all to help her by being really good and answering all the questions that he asked us. Later that day he came in, he had a moustache, we behaved, Miss Goodall behaved, there we all were, sitting in our rows behind our desks, breathing very, very quietly. And he looked at our windmills. And then our canals. And he said, "What do they eat in Holland?" And I didn't put my hand up in case I said tulips. But Sheila MacLaine said cheese. And he said, "What do they grow in Holland?" And I didn't put my hand up for that one either. But Margot Vane said tulips. And he asked some more questions and we were doing really well. Miss Goodall was trying very hard not to look proud. And then he asked, "Who is the Queen of Holland?" There was silence. No one knew who was the Queen of Holland. Miss Goodall frowned and then started looking all round the class with her eyes looking all hoping. And then suddenly I remembered this funny little rhyme that my friend Haribo used to say. I put up my hand. "Yes," said the inspector, "Queen Juliana is a fat banana." I said. Miss Goodall looked awful. Haribo was sitting in front of me and I saw him snort and start giggling. "Sorry, what did you say?" said the inspector. "Queen Juliana." I said. "Good," he said. "You're right, quite right." Miss Goodall was delighted, I was delighted, the inspector was delighted, and Haribo was still snorting away like mad. I was on a train to Hull, and this bloke turned to me and said, "Come on, kill me." And I said, "I'm sorry, I don't think I can." And he said, "Come on, kill me." And I said, "I'm not in the mood." And he said, "Right, you come to kill me and I go for my knife stuck down my sock. So you see me bend and you come for me, but I flip you over my shoulder and stab you. Come on, kill me." And I said, "Not now, people are watching." And he said, "Trained I am, commando. Been sitting in the desert in Australia for 3 bloody years. And then on the coast, got so bored, I used to take pot shots at passing ships. Trained I am. I could kill you in 5 seconds with me bare hands. You come for me, I'm up there with the back of my hand, then in there, and you're just a slab of meat." And I said, And he said, "What are you? Some kind of hippie?" And I said, "Sort of." And he said, "I'm free now. Free at last, free at last, free at bloody last. 3 bloody years," he said. And started crying.
Kaleidoscope. It's said that the great emperor of all emperors called for his wisest and cleverest people and told them to go away for 10 years to invent useful things. Whoever could invent the most useful thing of all would win 3,500 chocolate biscuits. 10 years later, there was a queue outside the palace of the great emperor of all emperors. One by one, people were asked in to show their invention to the great emperor of all emperors. One woman had invented windscreen wipers for spectacles. "Excellent," said the great emperor. "Very useful for when it's raining, but not a prize winner, I'm afraid." One man had invented square tomatoes. "Very good," said the great emperor. "Very useful for putting tomatoes in boxes, but not a prize winner, I'm afraid." One woman had invented a pencil that sharpened itself. "I like it," said the great emperor. "Very useful when you're too tired to use a pencil sharpener, but not a prize winner, I'm afraid." And one man had invented the kaleidoscope. "What's this?" said the great emperor. "You look through it," said the man. "Oh, it's a telescope, is it? Well, I'm afraid telescopes have already been invented. Hard luck. Goodbye. Next." "It's not a telescope," said the man, "but you do look through it." "Well, what's the point of looking through something that looks like a telescope but isn't a telescope?" said the great emperor. "You look through it, then you twist it and move it, and before you know what's what, you find yourself saying, 'Ooh.' Or on another day you might look through it, twist it and move it, and you could find yourself saying, 'Ah.' And I have to tell you this, sometimes people find themselves saying both 'ooh' and 'ah.' But what's the use of that?" said the great emperor. "I asked for inventions that are useful, not some stupid little thing that makes you make funny noises. Thank you, and goodbye. Next." "Just try it," said the man. "Oh, if I must," said the great emperor crossly. And he picked up the kaleidoscope, he twisted it, moved it, and he looked through it. And when he saw all the colours of the rainbow glowing in there, and when he saw all those patterns changing over and over again, he said, "Ooh!" And then he said, "Ah!" And then as he went on looking through it and changing the patterns, he said, yes, it's very nice, but what's it for? Is it useful?" And the man who had invented the kaleidoscope said, "Well, if you think about it, it's very useful. People go all over the world to look for things like the Grand Canyon or the Eiffel Tower, so that when they see them, they'll say, 'Ooh,' and 'Ah.' With this invention, you won't have to move out of your chair. And whenever you feel like a quick 'ooh' or a quick 'ah,' you take it out, look through it, twist it about a bit, and there you are." But the great emperor wasn't listening. He was too busy looking through the world's first kaleidoscope and saying, "Ooh," and "Ah." Later, much later, the man won 3,500 chocolate biscuits. Well, that's how the story goes. It may or may not be true. Eddie and the car. The stupidest thing I have ever done happened in France. We were going to have a picnic, so we were driving along the road in our little yellow Renault 4. Have you ever seen a Renault 4? It's like a square tin box. If you lean on it, the walls are so thin, your hand goes straight through the side of the car. We were off to have a picnic. Have you noticed how long it takes parents to make up their minds where to stop for a picnic? It takes us longer to find where to have the picnic than it takes to eat it. We stop, we get out, we spread the sheet, we unload the boxes and bags and bottles, we sit down and it's... What's that? What on earth could smell like that? A dead dog? OK, everyone, back in the car, drive on. We stop, we get out, we spread the sheet, we unload the boxes and bags and bottles, we sit down and it's... wasps, hundreds of them. OK, everyone, back in the car, drive on. In the end, we got to this perfect place, backed the car up a little slope, laid everything on the ground, sat down. "Eddie, do you want some chicken?" "No." "Eddie, do you want some crisps?" "No." "A drink?" "Nah." "Right, well, you toddle off and leave us to eat in peace." So Eddie, who was 3 years old at the time, walked off to the car and got into the back seat. He looked out the window and called out, "Look at me! I'm in the car!" Joe, who was 7, looks over and starts giggling back at Eddie. "Look at Eddie, Dad," says Joe. "Turn round, Joe. Don't take any notice of him. It only encourages him. Turn round." Then Eddie climbed into the front seat of the car. He grabbed hold of the steering wheel and shouted out at us, "Look at me! I'm driving!" And Joe says, "Look at Eddie, Dad. He's driving." I say, "Turn round, Joe. Don't take any notice of him. It only encourages him. Turn round." We went on eating. Then Joe looked up and said, "Dad, the car's moving." I said, "Don't be silly, Joe." And I turned round to look at the car. He was right. The car was moving slowly down the slope towards the road with Eddie at the wheel. He's screaming, "The car's moving! The car's moving!" Now, if you were a sensible, intelligent person at this moment, you might perhaps go over to the car, open the door, get Eddie out, jump in, jam on the brakes and stop the car. That would be the sensible thing to do. Slightly less sensible, but still quite sensible, would be to go over to the car, open the door, get Eddie out, close the door and wave goodbye to the car. At least, Eddie would be safe. What I did was try to stop the car. I rushed over and grabbed hold of the pillar between the two doors and tried to stop the car going down the slope. Eddie was screaming out the window, "The car's moving!" And I'm grunting back at him, "Oh no, it's moving." All the time the car is moving down the slope and I'm hanging on. On the roof of the car is a tray of peaches. So Joe is calling out, "Dad, look at the peaches! The peaches are flying off the roof of the car." And I'm saying, "Never mind the peaches." And Eddie is shouting, "The car's moving!" "Oh no, it's moving." Now, I know that what we've got coming up next is the road. So I think, it'll be flatter there. The car will slow down. I'll be able to stop the car. We get to the road. The car doesn't slow down. I am not able to stop the car. "Dad, look at the peaches." "Never mind the peaches." "The car's moving." "I know it's moving." We are now heading for a 12-foot ditch. The car nosedives down the ditch with me still hanging on. It bounces once, twice on its nose and lands up stuck headfirst in a hedge with its wheels spinning in midair. I opened the door, grabbed hold of Eddie, got him out, and he jumped into his mother's arms and bit her. He sunk his teeth right into her arm. Joe is walking around saying, "Look at the peaches! Yeah, look at the peaches!" Eddie is okay. Now to get the car out of the hedge. Get in, start up, into reverse, and nothing. The little yellow Renault 4 has front-wheel drive. The front wheels are turning over and over and over in midair, and nothing else is moving. What to do? I got out the car and looked around. There's no one anywhere. We're in the middle of the French countryside. We're stuck in a hedge miles from home. Then I looked again. And up the road, I could see in a field someone's backside. A man was bending down, digging potatoes. So I ran up the road and I spoke to him. "Excusez-moi, monsieur, je suis anglais, je suis stupide." I'm English and I'm stupid. And my little boy got on the front seat of the car and the car went down the hill and it stuck. The man stood up and slowly wagged his finger at me. "Jamais, jamais, jamais, never, 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 never let a child onto the front seat of a car. They can easily..." "Yeah, I know that now," I said, "but how do I get the car out?" He then raised both hands by his side and said, "Bof." This is French for, "I haven't got a clue. You're on your own, mate. Try it. Look, raise both hands by your side, hands upwards, and as you said, you puff your cheeks out. Bof." So now what? Far away in the distance, I see a man ploughing a field. So I started off running up the road towards him. And as I'm running along, I start to realise that I am only wearing my underpants. When we had the picnic, I thought that I would sunbathe. So here I am, running down the road in my underpants. No matter, must press on. As I got nearer to the field where the man was ploughing, I started thinking, how do you get someone to stop? How do you get someone to stop ploughing a field? So I climbed over the fence and stood in front of the tractor, held up both my hands and started waving. I don't suppose the farmer had ever seen a large hairy bloke in his underpants standing in front of his tractor waving his hands. But he brought the tractor up to me and stopped it. And he said, "Eh ben?" which is French for, "Well, have you got something to say or not, or are you completely stupid?" As you said, you have to nod your head upwards, leaving your mouth open after you've said it. The ben bit sounds a bit like bang, doesn't it? Say it through your nose. "Eh ben?" So I said, "Excusez-moi, monsieur, je suis anglais, je suis stupide." I'm English and I'm stupid. And my little boy got on the front seat of the car and the car went down the hill and it stuck. The man looked at me and slowly wagged his finger at me and said, "Jamais, jamais, jamais, never, never, never let a child get in the front seat of a car because they can easily..." Yeah. No, I know that now, but do you think you could help me? I could pay you it. It would be very nice if... So, 3 hours later, after he had lunch, he came along with his tractor, his wife, his dog, and a long chain. They tied the chain round the back bumper of the car and they pulled and they heaved and they heaved and they pulled, just like the story of the enormous turnip, and they pulled and they heaved the bumper right off the car. Thanks. Well, in the end, they got the little yellow Renault 4 out of the bush and out of the ditch, and after we had kicked it a few times, it worked. It was a little bit difficult going round corners, but it worked. We've got a photo of the little yellow Renault 4 stuck in the ditch in our photo album. It's great. It reminds me of the stupidest thing I've ever done. Eddie and the supermarket. Shopping with Eddie was a nightmare. I lift Eddie up and squeeze him into the seat on the shopping trolley. In you get, little fella. So he goes rigid. He turns himself into a little fat iron bar that can't be bent. I can't push his legs through the spaces. In you get, Eddie. Push. I said, in you push. Get, Eddie. Squeeze. Slowly he lets his legs relax and I unbend them and thread them into the trolley, and off we go. We're wheeling past the baked beans and he leans out and grabs a can. "Beans! More beans!" "No, Eddie, we don't need any more beans." "Beans, beans, beans, beans!" "No, we don't need any beans." "Beans, beans, beans!" "No beans, Eddie." We're heading now for the Kit Kats, Penguins, Topic Bars, Crunchies, Milky Ways. He stops shouting "Bins, bins, bins" and leans out of his seat, arms waving. We whiz round the corner of the packs of chocolate wafers and his chunky little hand grabs a packet. "Whee! Chocolate, whee!" "We're going to take that packet back, Eddie. We're going to take that packet back." Then there is an explosion. "My chocolate! My chocolate! My chocolate!" He turns into the little fat iron bar again. In front of my eyes, he becomes a screaming demon, head flung back, face going red, eyes getting swollen, back stiff, hands punching out, body heaving to and fro. A woman is looking at me and saying to herself, "You're a torturer. You're horrible to babies." "My chocolate! Bins, bins, bins!" Some people walk about pretending nothing is going on, but I can tell they're in pain. The noise of Eddie is getting into their bones. People are moving away from us. There's a man over there hurrying to get to the kitchen rolls. Eddie is wrenching the bars off the trolley. "Chocolate beans! My chocolate beans!" I want some kitchen rolls too. So the man who's trying to get away from me thinks he's being hunted by Eddie. Then one of the shelf stackers tries to be friendly. He looks at the screaming blob called Eddie and winks and does some useless trick with his finger and says, "Oh, it's not that bad, little one." "Thank you, shelf stacker. Brilliant finger move." "She is making a fuss, isn't she?" says our jolly shelf stacker. Eddie is veering about so much, the shelf stacker can't even tell it's a boy. "Beans, beans, beans! Chocolate, chocolate, chocolate!" I want to yell my head off too. I want to run around the supermarket waving my arms about, screaming "Bins, bins, bins." I want to sit in someone's trolley and bend bars and drop baked bean cans on the floor and grab chocolate biscuits and drive my dad crazy. Then the security men arrive. They've come to collect the money from the cash registers. There's 4 of them. They're huge, in big, padded blue uniforms with crash helmets on, truncheons in their belts. This is my chance. "Eddie, look who's come to get you." He looks, and he stops howling. All around me, people relax. They smile, they chat. I glide through, paying my bill. We all float out into the car park. Everything feels nice and easy. When we get home, I find that I've forgotten to get bread, jam, toilet rolls, milk, orange juice, tuna fish and cornflakes. Dinner time, Eddie, I say. What do you want? Beans, says Eddie. I go to the cupboard. He was right. We have run out of beans. I say, Eddie, I'm sorry, but we've run out of beans. No beans. And he says, beans, 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 beans.
The Hollywood. We went to this cafe and I had loads to eat. I had cod and chips. The cod was huge and there were hundreds of chips, hundreds and hundreds of them, and I ate the lot. Then Mum said, anyone want any afters? And we looked to see what there was. There was apple pie, don't like that. There was jam roly-poly, don't like that. And there was ice cream, I like that. There was chocolate, strawberry and vanilla. I was just about to say, I'll have a strawberry ice cream, when I saw something else. It said, the Hollywood. And it was vanilla ice cream, peaches, cream, chocolate sauce, cherries, trifle, jelly and strawberry ice cream. So I said, I'll have a Hollywood. Dad said, he won't eat it. They're huge. But Mum said, no, if he wants it, he can have it. Dad said, waste of money. He won't eat it. Mum said, a Hollywood, please. And we waited. Then, suddenly, it appeared on its own, right in the middle of a tray, with a little paper umbrella stuck in the top. Everyone in the cafe looked round. What's that? Oh, yeah, that's the Hollywood. Oh, yeah, that's the Hollywood, all right. And the woman put it down in front of me. The Hollywood, with a little paper umbrella stuck in the top. It was huge. It was taller than me. And I had this really long spoon to eat it with, and now, everyone was looking at me. I had to reach up to get to the cherry on the top. Got it. Oh, in the mouth. It was lovely. Then onto the ice cream and the chocolate sauce. Dig in. That was a bit rich, but okay. Dad loves ice cream and chocolate sauce, and he's watching me, but I don't give him any. Then there was some jelly stuff, and actually, that wasn't very nice. It was horrible. And Dad said, slowing down, are you? And Mum said, leave him alone. Now I was filling my cheeks so as not to taste it so much. My hands went hot and people were looking at me. Then I got to the trifle, soggy cake. And that was even more horrible. I couldn't bear to put it in my mouth. I couldn't even put it in my cheeks. I hunched my shoulders and spat some onto my plate. I stopped eating. Dad said, stopped, have you? Mum said, leave him alone. I said, I don't like it very much. Dad's hand darted across the table. I'll finish it, he said. Oh yeah, you bet he said that. I'll finish it, he says. And Mum turned to me and said, never mind, dear. I don't suppose you'll ask for one of those again, will you? I don't suppose I will.
Now, it would be great if you subscribed. That is, you become a subscriber. Look out for the subscribe button. What happens, you see, is that I make new vids every few months, and then I post them up one a week for a while. So if you subscribe, you get to see the new ones just as they come hot off the press. Ew.